What's up, crypto crew? It's your boy Tom here. Welcome back to the hottest update on Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're going to be diving deep into the charts. We got some information for you guys to keep you ahead of the curve. We have fear and greed basically coming back down to neutral. Yesterday we were in extreme fear, so the marketplace, always by the extreme fear. Market came up, but it didn't come up quite enough yet, and we're going to be talking about that. So please, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. Don't forget to come on over to X and follow us on X, where we post about Bitcoin and all altcoins all day, every day. So there's a piece of news up here on our X account, which I find really interesting, because now we're talking about Bitcoin miners about to make a big move. They're looking probably to sell off and take some profits. And in the past, that was basically, historically, it leads to a massive Bitcoin sell off. Will history repeat, or is just a bad trap before liftoff? I think that we got a lot more consolidation to do. So we have some consolidation happening in Bitcoin and also in Ethereum, and we're going to talk about key specific points, and we're going to get into old school charts. We're going to get into old school charts. Okay, we're going to neglect the candles for today, and we're just going to go into bar charts, because I like to look at the closes, and I want to point you out some specific points that we can use on a bar chart for specifically the close and the open of a chart, which is real important for me. The candle, great. I think for me, candlestick is basically just good to light up a geisha girl's apartment. I'd rather use bar charts, but I follow whatever you guys want to follow. Now, another piece of news that we want to look at, which is positive, is that the SEC just acknowledged Fidelity and Franklin Spot Ethereum ETF stalking filings. Now, that's good. Now, a lot of people say, is the SEC setting up for another roadblock? I don't believe so. I think that with this new administration, they are crypto friendly, so they're going to be opening up different markets for us. And I think it's going to be all good in the long run. But we're concerned right now with this just short term trading, okay? Not so much the long term. Okay, long term, this is a great investment. It's definitely heading higher. But we're going to have our ups and downs and bumpy roads for the short term, and we're going to cover that. So let's get into Bitcoin itself. Like I said, old school charts, okay? Bitcoin's sitting right around 83,000 right now, but it's a battleground. It's a freaking battleground out there. I didn't like the idea that it did not get above the 85,000 level that we were talking about yesterday. I said 84,500. It came right up into it, banged into it, and slowly has come off. But there is main support, two main supports, actually a minor support, I shouldn't say a main support, at 81,300. And there's the resistance at the 85,000. And this is where I like to use the chart itself. And I like to go up to the high bars close. We have them right here. This high bars close is an important point. Technically, for me, 89,898. But there's also a level that we really have to be concerned with right around here, which is the 86,792. But I will move that up a little bit. I will move it up. I will say that it's just slightly higher at 87,000, like 100. 87,185. That's fine. I'm just going a little bit higher than this bar's close. Closes are important, so in order for this marketplace to really start to rip again, okay, we're going to have to get up above these points right here, and then we have the 89, 90,000 level that we have to be concerned with. So we're getting right now what I would consider a coiling effect in between these two levels right here. If we break below 80,000, the main support, we're looking to hit that old support level at 78,336. If that goes, really, we're looking like the fear is going to start to kick back in again. People are going to panic. They're going to be starting to sell like mad. We have the two supports, the 80,000, the 78,200 level. And then we're opening up that to that 76,000 low that we have. The main support right now, okay, if we break all this, then what I think is going to start to happen is that this is going to be a buy area for the short term, the 73 to get back up to the 78. So you're looking at a $5,000 increase if we get down below that, okay? So that's what I'm looking at in Bitcoin right now. The up top resistance 87, 100 right now is the boss level. So we need to break that, and then we're talking some, what you guys call moonshots. I don't really see much of a moonshot. I see most likely, 87, and then the all important like 89,000 level. So we need to get through all this, and there's a lot of stuff happening in the background. We got the war in Ukraine, the war leaks. Russia's pushing, Kursk, ceasefire talks are dangling, Trump's in the mix. So safe haven vibes could send Bitcoin blasting, or if the Russians pull out of this thing and say, no, we're not agreeing to this, we want this, or they don't respond at all and they just keep bombing the heck out of the Ukraine, and this is going to send the coin down lower. So let's get on over to, here's that fear and greed that we're talking about, right? It's kind of cooled off. If it starts dipping back down below, we're going to see some sell-off in the coins. Let's go over to Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum, really, we need to get above 2,176. It's doing the same thing Bitcoin is doing. Now, there's some good news for Ethereum that we just pointed out on our X, where we're talking about, the SEC is acknowledging Fidelity and Franklin Templeton, so that's good news. But really, what technically trading, okay, we need to basically get above this 2,128. We have support right now, 1,757, which has been the low of the coin so far. Now, here's the kicker, okay? Supports at 1,754 would be, life support for the bullish move. And the short run, we could be moving down to 1,500, 1,544. If it breaks that, we're looking at like 1,100 for this coin, and that's possible because if we go back in time, and let's say we're going back way back here, let's find it. We're finding the launch point off of this area right here in the chart. So that's where I'm getting this point from. I'm coming down. Basically, this is like a Wyckoff. Okay, we had a spring that happened here. We had a low. We marketplace retraced off of it. We came down, made a double bottom, then broke, and then used it as the springboard up into the same area that we're here. So we can actually see history repeating itself right here on this chart, on a bar chart, by the way. But anyway, so let's move on over to what's going on right now, actually. So let me move over to where we are right now. And I don't know where my little cursor is, but this is where we stand right now. We're coiling right now in between these 2 points. And we need to break above this, because then what we'd want to happen to have this used as a support to take us back up to the 2,858 level, where it will probably hit more resistance again to bang back down. But I would like to see that happen. And for all you coin bulls, we got a lot of wood to chop. There's no real muzzle velocity happening right now in these coins. So we got the Ukraine war, are the wild card. Russia's storming Kursk, Ukraine's hitting back with drones, 30-day ceasefires on the table, looking, leaked straight from the top. Trump's pushing peace, but if Russia says no, it's risk-off chaos. Bitcoin, 75,000, Ethereum, 1,400. Peace deal lands, we're rocketing past, 87,000 in Bitcoin and 2,100 in Ethereum. So that's the next level of volatility, friends. And what's going to happen? What do you think? Is 80,000 going to hold, or 75,000 crash? Is 1,754 bust, or 2,100 breakout? Drop your predictions in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And remember, always enjoy the party, but dance near the door. Cheers.